That brings us to the past 4. Here we calculate the production cost of the finished goods, the final square and round candles, and update their inventory accounts. So, this table calculates the total and the per unit cost of producing the square candle. So now we have to find what is the number of the wall, bar or wall block have been consumed in this workshop. Here you can find the number is 88 unscented block consumed. So how can we find this information? So we know that each block of unscented wax produce 100 square candle. So after this workshop, the number of unscented block consumed should be equal to the number of candles produced divided by 100 candles per block. So here we have 808,000 candles was produced, and we divide by 100, so we have 88 blocks, right? So this is the value that we find. Now look at the direct cost of the labor cost, right? So the direct labor cost of mounting squares candle is given as 1,575. Next, we add the indirect cost of the overhead at mounting workshop. The 8,800 candle produced in the mounting workshop adjusted over the indirect cost as a rate of 30 cents per candle. So for total of 2,640. Now we have the total and unit cost is a sum of the all of this cost. So we have n with 8,800 candle produced, the unit production cost is equal 18,559 divided by unit production cost 8,800. So we have a 1.11 euro per candle. Here is the details that how we calculate the step by step, right? So you can look at it here for you. Now we did the same for the production cost of the round candle, right? But for the round candle, we also calculate how many wax block or wax bar was consumed. So we know that there's a 3,125 candle produced. So each block of scented wax produce 125 candle. So we have the value of 25 scented block consumed equals 3,125 candle produced divided by 125 candle per block that used. So now we move to the direct labor. So as we give the information, the total direct labor cost is 2,417, and we have 1,575 for square candle. So the difference between the total direct labor cost and the direct labor cost for square candle should be 832 euro. This is the direct labor cost for the round candle, right? Now we move to the same for the indirect cost of the molding workshop. The 3,125 candles produced attracted overhead or the indirect cost of 30 cents per candle. So for total of 937 euro. However, there's one thing very important we have to pay attention here. It means that the sales of waste. It means that the salvage cost value. So we know that the cost after the product the workshop, there's a waste that can be sold, that and the company earned 494 euro and 50 cents from selling production waste. That's the reason why the total and unit the total production cost should be the sum of all of the cost and more less the sale of waste. So now we have 11,086 euro. With 3,125 candle produced, the unit production cost would be equal to 3.55 per round candle. Right? So here is the table that we give the full information. And now we move to the last, nearly the last part for this part 4. We calculate the inventory account for finished goods for square candle. This the final table checks the inventory of the finished candle to determine the cost of goods sold and the values of inventories available. For the square candles, the total available should be the value of beginning inventory is added to the value of new production, and we have the total value of 18,000 and divide by the total quantity of 9,000. So we have the work for the 2.09 per candle, right? And we do the same for the round candle. So we find the total cost of goods sold should be the 3.53 per candle. Okay, I think so. Okay, good now. And here's the detailed calculation, so you can see from here. Now we reach a final calculation for step 5. Here we determine the full cost of goods sold for each product line and then prepare an analytical income statement to see the final profit or loss. So we started with the table to calculate the full cost of the square that was sold during the month equal beyond the production cost to include the cost of distribution and the cost of administration. For the square candle, the cost of production cost should be the value of 7,500 candles sold, calculated using the weighted average cost of 2.09 or 2.1 per candle. So this value is taken from our previous inventory table. And now for the indirect distribution cost, 7,500 candle was sold, and the distribution overhead rate is 15 cents per candle. The total distribution cost is 7,500 multiplied by 50 equals 3,750. For indirect administration cost, these costs are allocated based on the production cost of the goods sold. So here you can see that the production cost of goods sold is 15,672. So we move here is the quantity. So as you remember at the beginning, the first step, they already give you the information for the number of the cost driver for this administration. So now we know how we can calculate it, right? The total administration cost will be equal to the quantity of the cost driver multiplied by the unit cost driver. So we have a 2,351 euro. So the total cost of goods sold now is the sum of the above cost should be the 121,779. And if you want to divide to know what is the total cost of goods sold per unit, so you use the total amount divided by total quantity, you have a 2.90. You do the same for the round candle, and you can find that the total amount is 13,685, and the total unit cost is 4.56 per one candle, a round candle, of cost of goods sold, right? Okay, so this is one of the application. So normally you follow step by step: cost of production of goods sold, indirect distribution cost, indirect administration cost, total cost of sale, by the sum of all of the cost amount and the cost per unit or cost per round candle. So here, uh, this now we move to the last part of the calculation. The table calculates the final profit and loss by each product by comparing the sales revenue to the total cost of goods sold. For the sales revenue here we have 30,000, and for the total cost of goods sold we these values units we directly bring from the previous table. So here we have the total analytical cost is 8,220 and the unit cost is 1.1. Now we can finally see the bottom line, right? This is an analytical income statement for the square candle. Sale revenues, this is the income statement for this one. You do the same for the round candle and you can see that, but for this one you can see that the total cost of sale is higher than the revenue. uh, Total cost of sale revenue of goods sold is higher than revenue, resulting a loss of the 1,385,000. So the loss per unit should be the total loss is divided by the number of units. So 3,000 to get a loss of 46% per candle. Okay, so here you can see step by step to calculation. And now we move to the last section, the Patrick profit analysis. Let's summarize what we are learned and discuss what it means for the Happy House company. So this summary table put everything into perspective. Our total basics, the company look profitable of 8,800 and 6,835, with the respective of the profit margin of 16%. But you know that the high level view is misleading because the square candle have a huge success with a strong profit margin of 27%. In contrast, the round candles have a negative profit margin of 11.3%. All the company profits are coming from one product line, while the other is draining resources. Right? So to comment on this analysis, the overall positive performance is making a serious underlying issue. The profitability of the two products is drastically different. The success of the square candle is essentially subsidiary from the round candle. The entire company's profit is being held back by the underperformance of the round candle. This is a classic example of why detailed product costing is so essential. So now, based on this analysis, what should the management do? Here are the few suggestions. First, they must conduct an urgent cost review for the round candle. Why are they so expensive? Is for material cost. The perfume seems expensive. Perhaps they can find cheaper supply. Second, they need to look at the production efficiency. Is the molding process for round candle inefficient? Can they reduce the labor time or waste? Third, they must re-evaluate their pricing. the selling price of 4.1 euro is clearly not enough to cover the full cost of the 4.56 euro. A market analysis is needed to see if customers would be willing to pay more. And finally, if costs can be reduced and the price can be raised, management should seriously consider discontinuing the round candle product line altogether to stop the losses and focus resources on their profitable product like a square candle. Okay, that presentation concludes our deep dive into the cost and profitability of the Happy House company. We have seen how the food cost methods allow us to move from the raw data to actionable business intelligence. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.